BookTube! This is Brekkie from Brekkie Writes, and this is Brekkie Reads, and it's time for my February wrap-up video. I finished 9 books in the month of February, which is down a little bit from the 16 that I read in January, but still a solid amount of reading in my opinion. 2 of my books were audiobooks, and 6 of my books came from 2 different trilogies. The first books that I finished in the month of February should come as no surprise because they are the Grisha Trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. The first book being Shadow and Bone, followed by Siege and Storm, and ending with Ruin and Rising. The Grisha Trilogy tells the story of a young woman named Alina and her best friend Mal as they leave the orphanage which they were raised and join the military, and while on a military expedition, Alina discovers that she has a special gift, and her gift takes her away from her best friend and onto a series of epic adventures. The Grisha Trilogy takes place in a world that is modeled after Imperial Russia and is really rich and detailed. I have loved this trilogy. It has been one of the best reads I've had all year. If you are interested in more of my thoughts, I will link both the spoiler-free review and the spoiler-filled gush video in the description below. The next book that I finished in the month of February was Tiger Eyes by Judy Blume. Tiger Eyes is a banned book on the American Library Association list of most banned books. I will link the ALA banned book list in the description in case you're curious about other banned books. My TBR jar challenge for the month of February was to read at least one banned book, and so I read Tiger Eyes because it showed up on several different lists. Pretty much everything by Judy Blume shows up on banned book lists. Tiger Eyes follows a 15-year-old girl named Davy after her father is brutally shot in the store that he owns. Her mother, in her grief, moves Davy and her younger brother out to New Mexico, and Davy is forced to start over her life. So not only is she grieving the death of her father, but she also is having to leave her best friend, her school, all of her familiar surroundings. While in New Mexico, Davy meets an older boy named Wolf who is also in his own process of grieving, and the two bond and become good friends. The book is short and straightforward. It wasn't the best book I've ever read, but it was definitely for younger readers, like young middle grade readers, and it was a 3-star read for me. The next books I finished this month also came from a trilogy, and they are the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. The first one is The Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and this is a 4.5-star read for me, followed by Days of Blood and Starlight, which was a 5-star read for me, and the last book in the trilogy was Dreams of Gods and Monsters, which was a 3-star read for me. Now, I began reading the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series first in this month, but actually stopped reading this trilogy in order to read the Grisha Trilogy. Then I came back to this and absolutely loved the first 2 books. Daughter of Smoke and Bone and Dreams of Blood and Starlight are 2 of the best young adult fantasy books I have ever read. The world building, the character development, the really deep questions that are being asked. There's a lot of questions about what it means to be human, what it means to other, how we justify vengeance and violence, how we tell ourselves myths in order to justify the people that we other and the people that we fight with are incredible. These 2 books are 5 stars. I loved these 2 books. Then we got to Dreams of Gods and Monsters, and I'm gonna have to do a review video just about this trilogy, but let's just say I had to force myself to read all of this book. I got about halfway and had to step away from it because I was so disappointed with where this was going, and this book is perhaps the biggest disappointment I have read in 2016. It probably is the biggest disappointment I have read in the last couple of years. I don't think I've been so disappointed in the way a series has ended since Mockingjay. That says a lot. But thank goodness I did not end my month of reading with Dreams of Gods and Monsters. I finished 2 audiobooks. The first was Road to Little Dribbling by Bryson. This is a travel memoir in which Bill Bryson goes and revisits some of the places he visited in one of his first travel memoirs 20 years ago, and also visits some new places. These are his snarky, grandpa, curmudgeonly insights about all these places. He provides lots of historical facts and trivia references. If you like Bill Bryson, you will love Road to Little Dribbling. I thought this was a solid book. Not the best book I've ever read, but definitely a solid read, and I gave it 3.5 stars. And the final book that I finished this month in February was the audiobook of Committed by Elizabeth Gilbert. Most of you will probably know Elizabeth Gilbert from her smash hit memoir, Eat, Pray, Love. Committed is a follow-up memoir chronicling her wrestling with the idea of having to marry her sweetheart that she meets in Eat, Pray, Love because he's being banned from entering the United States without being married to her. This is both a memoir about her own struggles through the immigration process and her traveling while they're trying to figure out this whole marriage deal, but it's also a history of marriage, a look at the psychology and sociology of marriage. Committed came for me at a really great time. I was reading this book over my 30th birthday, and I am not married and thought that I would be at 30. So listening to somebody who's been divorced and is really thinking about what marriage means, and someone who is giving the sort of contemporary American landscape for marriage and partnerships and what all of that means, was really, really meaningful to me personally, and I loved it. I like Elizabeth Gilbert. I really enjoyed Eat, Pray, Love, and I think this was just as good, but less personal introspective reflection and more societal reflection, if that makes sense, which is why I don't think as many people have resonated with this book as Eat, Pray, Love. Overall, I gave Committed 4 stars. So those are my 9 books that I got through in the month of February. It was another fabulous reading month for me. March is not going to be quite such a full reading month, I don't think. I should be getting my edits back from my editor by no later than next Friday, March 4th. I'll be taking a lot of March to work on my manuscript edits and then begin looking for agents and things like that. So that takes a lot of time. I mean, I don't know, I've never done it, but I suspect that's pretty time consuming. What did you guys read this month? Did you read any of these books? Have you read any of these books? Let me know what you think about them in the comment section. Let me know what you're reading. Did you have books that you absolutely loved that blew you away? Are there books that totally disappointed you? Because this totally disappointed me. I'd love to know. Let me know in the comments. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye!